Down here in Las Cornelius, there's no city hall, no laws, not even sidewalks. Just heat, grit, and willpower. That's why when I'm having a hot day, I always hit the dusty diners right off. This is after plans for a new community college on Beaufortman farmland face backlash tonight, as critics say it's erasing the city's. Here at Verdelink Global, we don't aim to just move cargo, we move the world. For decades, we've helped power Puerto Gato's industries through smart and sustainable logistics. That's why we're proud to announce our newest commitment, the Verdelink Maritime Terminal, a next-generation port we are designing, building, and operating in partnership with the city of Puerto Gato. Since its founding, the city has relied heavily on railroad services like ours to deliver essential goods, resources, and food to your dinner table. From the rural hinterlands of El Cedro, the rich fields in the Pico Verde Basin, all the way to the bustling streets of Gato Square, Verdelink has helped keep Puerto Gato connected and competitive. That's why we're happy to announce Verdelink Maritime Terminal. This sprawling 10,000 square meter facility located along the southern waterfront will serve as a key gateway for international trade. This terminal will operate as a seamless location for loading and unloading cargo vessels, streamlining supply chains, reducing congestion, and driving regional growth. As part of our commitment to next-generation infrastructure, VMT, as we're calling it, will have dedicated rail integration. Trains will now transport goods directly from harbor to destinations across the entire city and beyond. Our partners at BlackRock Mining Company and Chungman Produce have already reported shorter delivery times, reduced costs, and increased shipping capacities. I mean, this port is a game changer. The profit margins are out of this world. That's not all. We are also happy to announce that we are streamlining our passenger service. In the upcoming weeks, we will also update our passenger routes, making it easier for you to get where you need to. In line with public demand, we will also begin construction of a new passenger terminal in El Cedro. With over 15 tons of cargo storage capacity, scalable expansion options, and sustainable design standards, the Verdelink Maritime Terminal represents a bold leap forward for Puerto Gato's economic. So in today's episode, we're going to build our city's first cargo harbor. I'll get extra comfortable with the road builder and make our port as realistic as possible. We're also going to establish a new coal plant for the Sprek Energy Group and expand our agribusinesses. But before all that, we're going to take a look at our current highway systems and make a few much needed adjustments. But first, what do you think? Can a single port transform an entire city's economy? And if you're excited to watch Puerto Gato grow from the ground up, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss what happens next. But with all that said, let's go ahead and dive straight in. And before we begin any of those ports, we're going to begin right here at this intersection of Green Street and Canal Street. And this is kind of leading up to where everything is going to kind of build up to. And if we look here, we have this overly complicated interchange where I've kind of custom placed the lanes, but we have quite a bit of traffic, as we can see here. So I want to kind of alleviate some of that. So what I think I'm going to do first is I'm just going to go ahead and delete basically all of this road up to here. With that deleted, I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to change this to a proper 2-lane highway. It won't be an interstate, it'll be more of like a state highway. So I'm just going to upgrade this segment to a 2-lane one-way highway. And I think what I'll do now that we have that deleted is I'm just going to go with our highways, and we'll do about, let's do 0.5 since this is a state highway, not an interstate. Maybe we'll even do a little bit closer, and we'll kind of hug the waterfront. And then we'll just go ahead and bridge this over for now. All right, and then I'll just go ahead and connect these two roads up here simply with the complex curve tool. And now we're just going to go ahead and link Green Street back up. So I think we're going to do something like a 3-leg directional highway, just since this is kind of where 3 parts of our city meet. As we can see, if we turn on our info views, this road, or I guess we can't really tell now, but this was like a major arterial here. So this is like an integral part of our city. So I kind of want to plan for such. So I'm planning to do a 3-leg directional highway. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade those outer lanes here. For our highway, I think I want this west movement to kind of naturally feed into this bridge here, but I kind of want to make this a proper bridge. So I'm going to kind of delete this back a little bit, and I am going to actually place a bridge here first. So I'm going to delete both of these. So I think I'm going to do this 3-lane truss bridge, and I'm just going to bring that right across the water here, about 12 units above it. And then we'll just go ahead and connect this all up here. So I'll just go to our highways and just grab onto this. I don't know if I put this too high here. Hopefully we can kind of make our way down. Luckily we have anarchy to kind of lean back on, but I'll try and be reasonable with this. And I think why don't for this next one we try and bring this down. So I'm just gonna curve this around for our loop. And actually, let's make sure that this is at the correct orientation, because I really like to be precise. So I'm just gonna continue on with a 4-lane road here first, and then we'll just grab a little guide road. We'll leave that there for now, and then we'll get the easy one here. So I think for this last one, we're gonna have to go underneath these last lanes here. So I'm just going to kind of carve out a little bit of this ground here. So we're at 512, I'll go down to about 504. I just think this highway looks so nice. We got this nice little underpass in here, so you would go underneath with this sound barrier that I added here. I gotta get rid of some of these pillars here as well, but I think that's great. I'm not gonna get too crazy about it. As we can see, we got a little bit of wonkiness with this lane, but I'm just gonna move on for now, and we'll come back to it in just a moment. And now that we have that first interchange done, we need another access point here for our agribusiness and businesses that aren't directly connected to Verdelink. So I think I'm going to go ahead and extend this arterial that we have connected to the outside world up to State Road 48. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over this with a 4-lane road and just bridge straight over it. Actually, no, we'll just go ahead and kind of extend this all the way to the highway, or the interstate rather. And then I'll just go ahead and get that guideline there. And then I'll just bridge this over, and maybe, why don't we go ahead and convert this to a 4-lane highway instead. And I'm just gonna go ahead and bridge this over. I think we'll just do a simple diamond interchange for this one here. Nothing major, but it'll just be able to handle all the left turns into this district. got that diamond interchange all finished there, and I'm gonna go ahead and kind of fix up some of the lane maps here. As we can see, we got some sharp angles here, so I'm not really a fan of it right now. And then the city would be really thinking about this intersection, so I'm going to add those same slip lanes here as well, just for some extra flow coverage. And I'll kind of create a little bypass road. So I'll get a one-way highway here, and I'll just kind of go parallel as close to this as I can get it. And I'll just go ahead and add that traffic light now, and everything should be working as it needs to. Looks like we got one thing crazy happening here. So our final interchange is going to be here, and this is going to serve our cargo port. So, and the reason why I'm doing it on the State Road 48 rather than the interstate is companies like Verdelink would probably try and skirt past, you know, the red tape or regulations that would come from doing it on the interstate, as well as funding that would involve. So they could kind of speed up their process and their expansion efforts by doing this. So we're just going to add in that interchange here, and I think for this one, Verdelink would really prioritize, you know, quick movement and for freight. So we're going to do something that's kind of large, and I think I'm going to do a directional T interchange here. So I'm just going to grab this 4-lane road, and we'll just kind of expand it this way, just in general here. And this is right where our T interchange will go. And now that we got that T interchange all finished here, I think what I'll do is I'm going to add it in a little bit of detail. So I have gotten these road marking decals that we can kind of place here, and I think this would be kind of cool. So I'm going to place these shields here, and I'm going to kind of do that for basically every significant area, so where all of our interchanges are at, kind of letting everyone know where they are and what kind of roads they're getting on and whatnot. And it looks, and we have the compass now, so we can also name some of these roads and label them accordingly. got all of those markers added. I also added in some landscaping here. I thought I added some since this is a government federally funded interstate or interchange. So added that there. Got all of our markers there, and I'm really happy with those because, you know, adding in that kind of world building always helps me get really immersed in what I'm building. And I think with all that said, with all of those highway improvements complete, let's go ahead and move on to building out our car report. And with those interchanges all complete, I kind of have been thinking, and I don't really think that this here makes quite that much sense. I think this would be really expensive. I also don't want this to be an interstate, as you can see. I mean, you know, freeways have, you know, interchanges, but I don't want it to have it at this stage right now. I just don't think the Verdelink company would be able to afford this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna have a super node instead. And maybe we can say, you know, later on in our storyline, you know, based on needs, we develop a interchange or we have a connection to the interstate. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get about 4 units away from the highway. And I think we're gonna go ahead and turn this into just a standard diamond interchange. But we're gonna have these frontage roads be one directional. And so we'll have one lane that connects right directly to State Road 48. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna elevate all of this segment here. I will come back to this interchange in just a moment, but I don't really know how I want to lay it out yet, just until we get our port finished. Speaking of that, we're going to go ahead and place in our cargo harbor, and we're going to place it right here on this little peninsula we have. So let's go ahead and go to our water panel, and we'll just kind of place this. And I kind of want to do an artificial bay. So as we can see, we have this kind of natural path that it would kind of lead to, and I kind of want to utilize that to kind of have some protection against the waters from this large body of water, whatever this is. So yeah, we'll just kind of utilize that there. So I'm just gonna kind of place this with anarchy for now. I'm trying to get a plan of how we want this to kind of be laid out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of smooth out the terrain where this is, and then we'll delete it and kind of place it back. And then I'll get a road that kind of leads up to where I kind of finalize that to be at. We'll just do a simple connection like that straight ahead for now, but it looks like we're not having power here, so let me just go ahead and connect that up. Now that we got that cargo harbor all placed, I want to think about our train capacity. So if we look here at our rail depot, we can see that we are using 8 out of 10 trains, and I think Verdelink, since they're kind of expanding right now, they would kind of use this chance to kind of increase their capacities naturally, because they wouldn't want to, you know, plan this entire port and then not have enough trains. So we're gonna kind of make sure we plan for that. So I think I want to do the same kind of land reclamation process and kind of have the rail depot in the water, kind of far out here a little bit, and have the tracks kind of leading up to it. So let's just go here and we'll get, let's just use this 5-track long. And actually what I'll do is I'll just use the terrain and I'll just kind of make my way there. And I'll figure out how I want this to be. Alright, got that nice artificial break there. So now what I imagine is the boats can come here. They can either dock if they want to, turn around, and then exit again. So I think that's kind of nice. So what I want to do now is place that depot that I was talking about. So I will place this right here. And now I'll just get the tracks to kind of lead up and kind of, I guess we'll get up to about here, right where the highway is for now. And now we'll get another alley connecting that. And this time I want to use one of these custom ones that I kind of built. I think this one's a little too large right now, but we'll use this one for the time being. And now I'll just go ahead and use this kind of custom road that I have around this depot. And before I get too ahead of myself, I want to go ahead and make sure we have enough space for the coal plant that we're going to place here. And this is going to be the Sprec integration, kind of utilize this, kind of why they got the grant. So we're going to be working in partnership with BlackRock Mining and them to kind of make, to form the Sprec group as a energy or utility group in the area. So let's go ahead and unlock that with our progression panel. And if I remember correctly, this asset is pretty large. So yeah, we're gonna need quite a bit of space. Actually, I don't think that's where I want that. Let me kind of replace that really quick. All right, and I think that's a great little location for that. I think what I want to do next is place a coal yard with one of Tygon's rail assets. I just love placing these things. So, and that'll kind of make it easier for us to get coal from both, outside connections and inner city. So now we can have a direct connection, based on rail from BlackRock Mining or Iron Ridge, all the way over here. Now that we have all of our core assets placed, I think I want to place in some warehouses, and I have these new modded warehouses that I want to place here. So I'm just gonna kind of zone these in and see what they kind of look like first, and then maybe we'll kind of plop them in once we kind of see what those are kind of zoning in. All right, and actually I want to see if I can kind of get the rail in between these and kind of act as if they are separate companies that have access to the rail, and so they have smaller freight operations. So we'll kind of delete all of these and kind of play plop the growables, I guess. I don't know. We'll add in some additional warehouses in just a moment, but I want to go ahead and add in some secondary storage for our coal power plant. And the way I want to do that is I am just going to use our specialized industry, and I'm just going to kind of say that this is how we're storing it. So we'll just get our coaler ore mining here. And I don't want that to be really visible from the road, so I'm gonna go ahead and create some kind of buffer here. And I think I'm gonna I have this pre-made tree collection here, so we'll just go ahead and do that. And right now this looks a little flat, so I want it to look kind of more like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and raise the terrain a bit if we can. And you really can't tell right now, but I think that looks a lot better. But I think what I need to go ahead and do is connect this up with some power lines. So I'll just grab those. All right, and I want to go ahead and create some custom roads again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this industrial road that I kind of have. I have this one here, and we'll go ahead and do ground. And I think what I want to do is kind of have maybe some rail ones here and kind of have these as piers instead. All right, created this kind of custom pier road. So I imagine that the boats could immediately unload their onto the tracks, and then we can use that to kind of connect there, kind of integrate that in there better. And I kind of want to have a different variant there as well, but I'm gonna go ahead and add in a bunch of piers and kind of lay out the rest of the road network for this port area. So I've created some kind of mini docks here throughout here. I got one with some rail as well. I'm not sure if these are too narrow for the boats. Well, obviously, I mean, they're not gonna be here anyway because we only have this one in terms of the water transportation. So, but I just wanted to add in a little bit more, but let's go ahead and just kind of place the rest of the industry that I wanna do for the rest of this area. So we're just gonna do some warehouses here, some more warehouses there as well, and then we're going to add in some industries, some normal manufacturing right here. what I came up with so far. As we can see, we got a couple little docks and docking stations here. I kind of changed up the shape a little bit over here, and I'm gonna come back and add in some asphalt surfaces over here in a moment. Oof, my game is really lagging right now. I really don't know what's going on, but I think what I want to do is turn my attention to planning out some of our office park. All right, and I love this, what we got so far. So I think what I'm going to do now is I want to add in some kind of check point before we enter the harbor. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go ahead and sever this road. And I went ahead and connect that one up because we're not going to really need a checkpoint to kind of exit the harbor, because you would find that as they unload and divide out based on who's buying what, they would kind of inspect it there. But so they would want to try and make sure that no smuggling operations basically happen, and they want to know who is entering and what the vehicles are carrying. So we're just going to kind of do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just start off by placing this we'll do a 5-lane road for now, and we'll just kind of follow where this road was at first. All right, and so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this node here for now. Hopefully that doesn't cause anything. I think we should be good. I think this road counts as a connection, so, oh, no, it doesn't. So I'm gonna actually change this. All right, and we'll go ahead and use the road builder to kind of add some medians in between these lanes to kind of act as checkpoints. All right, got this nice little checkpoint. I went ahead and added in some sidewalks here as well, just to get so all the officers could have somewhere to easily walk and they don't have to kind of get hit by the highway. But I also kind of slowed down the speed here, so they'll kind of naturally slow down here as if they actually are getting checked. So I think what I want to do is add in a police station. One, because if we look, our citizens have a pretty high crime risk, but also you would kind of find these, and I want to say that this is a checkpoint, so kind of getting some utility out of this. So I think we'll just use our basic small police station, and actually let me go ahead and get rid of this quay really quick. I'll just kind of place this right here. And now that we have that police station place, I'm going to try and add in another service road to this facility. All right, we got our nice checkpoints now. Now I want to add in some booths to kind of act as checkpoints where the officers would kind of be stationed at to kind of check. So let's go ahead and first place a parking space here, because I find it easier for me to just kind of copy objects rather than to just kind of search for them. Or I guess, actually I'll do what I'm used to. So what I think I'll do is I'm gonna copy this parking lot booth here, because I kind of like how large it is, and I don't even know if we'll be able to, I guess we can kind of fit this one here. If we, it's too large. I really like this one, so I think I'm gonna increase this median here. All right, and for some reason now it's working with the road there, so I guess I can get rid of that. So what I want to do is go ahead and add in one of those parking booths now that we had earlier, because I went ahead and added in a platform. And I don't know if this is too high, but we're just gonna kind of roll with it. And now I want to add in some of these parking lot gates here. So I'm just going to add a couple of these as well. And now we got these amazing surfaces that I want to kind of try out and add on this kind of here for the chevron. And I think this checkpoint looks amazing. I've never really made one of these or used the harbor or done anything like this before, so I'm kind of learning on the fly, but I like these lanes here. I was imagining that this one is the fast lane here, and this one is if you don't have the access to that. So I think this looks great. So we have these security gates and we have this police station here. I added in some chevrons, some surfaces here to kind of give some more detail as well. And I think with that, I want to add in some of that more detail to the rest of the port area. So I'm just going to add in some of the asphalt pavement surfaces for the rest of it. I think this checkpoint looks pretty cool. I've never really made one before, and I've never really messed around with the harbors, but I think it looks pretty cool. I think this looks super realistic. We got these checkpoints, so they would stop the trucks here and kind of inspect them. And this is where the officers would kind of be stationed. So I think this looks pretty realistic, but I think with all of that done, let's go ahead and move on to planning out our office park. So now that we have our port and our checkpoint complete, the next thing I want to do is add in some offices to our port. And the reason why I want to add these is because ports are not just industries. They also have things like logistic companies or clearance agencies or dispatch centers. So I want to show that Puerto Gato, or this port, is kind of like a mid-sized functional office campus for all of these uses. So the Spread group, the Verdelink, and a bunch of smaller groups as well. So what I'm going to do is add in some offices. And I think the first thing I want to add is this Polaris office, I think. Or no, I think it's called the Circle office. I forget. It's called the Round office. Okay, I was close. So we'll add this Round office, and I like this one to be the Verdelink HQ. And I just think I want to put that there because I just can imagine the view of all the water around you. And yeah, I think that'd be great. And with that, I think I want to have a road that kind of leads up to that. So why don't we grab this, where this alley is, and just kind of lead that up to it. I just think that would look amazing. Like, can you imagine like working here and just being able to watch the boats and just look at the water, and like I just think it would look beautiful. So what I want to do is add in some secondary buildings. So these will kind of be office things, but they'll be city services basically. So what I want to add first is our fire coverage, and I want this to look kind of industrial, but also kind of serve this because I mean we're burning a lot of coal and we have huge amounts of oil and lots of various flammable chemicals. So I would imagine the city would have some regulations and say you guys need to have some fire coverage. So that's kind of why I'm adding that in. And I think I want to add in this, even though it's expensive, I'm going to add in this Eastern European fire station, and hopefully we can survive the financial strain that I'm about to cause. And then I also want to think about our internet coverage. So if we look at our services, we don't have any of that here. So I'm just gonna add in a server farm, and I'm just gonna unlock that really quick. So I was doing I was just kind of experimenting a little bit, and I was looking at this post sorting facility, and even though it's absolutely massive, I think I like it. So I think I want to place it. I think that kind of fits what I kind of wanted over here. And I think that's kind of perfect. So what I want to do next is go ahead and add in that server farm that I was talking about. So we'll just add that in right here. I'll just need to remove this. I want this to be close to the port area, so I'm gonna have to relocate some of this stuff. So why don't we remove this road and kind of rethink how this is kind of laid out. And then I'm not sure if this will really work, but I'm gonna get a service road just so all the delivery trucks and everything here can kind of access this facility without kind of waiting. This is more symbolic than it is anything else. So now I want to add in some other offices, and we'll just use the Southwest pack, and I'll just kind of plop these in because I find that it's easier to just do that rather than to zone them and then to delete them and play whack-a-mole. So I'm just going to kind of create a kind of office park complex here. Added in that road there as well. Now I want to go ahead and add in some additional offices as well. So before I do that, I want to think about parking, and I imagine that since this is where all the execs would work and they would kind of cluster around here where I'm going to place these offices, they'd want a more premium form of parking. So what I'll do is I'm going to place this multi-level parking building here at this corner. Perfect. And that way they can park there. And I'll go ahead and raise the price here just so they have to kind of pay more, so people won't be as willing to park here rather than other places in our harbor area. So let's go ahead and fill in those offices as well. And I'm just gonna kind of plop those in because I find that that's easier to kind of get the theme that you want rather than to zone them in. I tried zoning in some of the buildings over here, but I must plop. That is my calling, I think. So I want to make sure I plop these ones that don't have that don't have parking, because I want to add my own here. And we also have this parking building, so I imagine we should be fine with that. So we're just gonna plop a bunch of these these low offices here. And that's our office park done. I think I'm going to do a little bit of recoloring right now because I don't want these to all look so different. So let's try and get these to be a bit more muted. Got everything recolored there. I think that's more cohesive now. So this post-sorting facility looks more dystopian now as I wanted to, so I think that looks great. And I can't really recolor the Verdelink HQ, but I think that's fine. You know, I want it to be inspired by the lighthouse that we have here, or the water tower rather. So I think that's pretty cool. So I think we'll go ahead and finish off by connecting up our rail. So I just want to go ahead and create a bridge that goes right over both of these highways first, just because I think this is just probably going to be the simplest way to do this. So we'll just go up about 8.75 and then just bridge straight across here. And then I'll turn on anarchy just to get over this one here. Cool. And hopefully that's not too obstructive. I imagine it shouldn't be. I mean, they could have like a interchange bridge. So I think we should be fine here. So we'll just continue and make our descent down. But what I want to do is get rid of some of this bridge span. And now I'm gonna go ahead and create a connection from here all the way here. And so if we look here, we could see that we have a lot of natural resources up here, and we could see that a company like Verdelink, with their they would scout areas like this for potential profits. So they would probably want to go ahead and have some kind of rail extension to connect this area in place before they get to extracting resources. So that's kind of why I'm going to go ahead and expand in this direction here, and kind of sever this rail junction that we have, just because this is kind of what the map came with, and I think we've advanced a little bit, so we'll kind of get rid of that in just a moment. Looks like we got a little bit of terrain here, but we should be fine as long as I stay straight. And so what I'll do is I'm just gonna go ahead and connect this up here for the time being. And just because this is kind of confusing me, I'm gonna go ahead and sever this just so I know that we're getting rid of it. And instead of having it in there, I am going to have it in somewhere near this segment. So I kind of made a little note of where I want that to end at. So I'll kind of follow the boundary for a moment, or actually what I'll do is I'm just gonna kind of not, I don't want to hug it that closely because I want to be able to maneuver around it. So we'll just do something like this. And then I'll just kind of connect this back up here. And then we'll get, I guess we'll replace our junction and have it curve right about here. Looks like actually right here we have a little bit of jankness, so why don't I go ahead and fix that real quick. And that's a lot longer of a junction, but I think it allows us more utilization of the space that we have now that it's kind of utilizing where the reservoir is more than it is the land that we have. So what I want to do is go ahead and add in a road connection from the port to our agribusiness district, because right now we kind of have we're kind of cul-de-sacing this area with this one connection. So I want to have this one just for if we have any changes on the highway or the interstate, or there's an accident that kind of backs up traffic. So kind of want to have that here. So let's go ahead and kind of follow the this rail with a road, and we'll just use our normal county highway. So what I want to do is, okay, and now we'll just go ahead and link these two roads up, and I think I'll have to kind of bridge over this rail instead. So I know that our height of 8.75 meters is okay. And then we'll just kind of make our way back down. So instead, I went ahead and not have this as one continuous road, rather have it end there, just so people aren't utilizing this as a thoroughfare from there to there. So I think what I'll do next is just go ahead and finalize that and create this final bridge span, and we'll just do the same thing here. And since we went ahead and created that overpass, why don't we go ahead and create an underpass here for this train? So I'm gonna go ahead and pause this and pull that back a little bit, and we'll just carve out the ground a little bit, about 8 meters below. So we'll go about 504, 503 maybe, just to be safe. And then I'll just go ahead and flatten that out here. And then I'll just create a node. So I'll just use the pavement paths and then just bridge this right over. And now now that shouldn't cause any backups now, so that's great. What I want to do is turn back over here and kind of pay my attention back to the firehouse we have here. And I want to provide a connection right behind here to the office park and not by the road. So I'm going to use the invisible road paths and kind of link this up. So now with that, I think I want to go ahead and pull all the surfaces to kind of link all of the buildings up here and act as if they kind of share this campus a little bit more. And now, before we finish off, I want to add in some additional parking here, and I kind of for the entire port district actually instead, because I would imagine in real life this would have like thousands of jobs, so we would probably want to prepare for that and allow some parking. So right here, I think it will be a kind of an employee parking area. We'll have a guest area for visiting companies and some additional employee areas for the various buildings we have here. So I added in a bunch of parking here, and I didn't even realize that this has the helipad, but so I probably will have to get rid of some of this, but it's okay because this is just a parking lot. So you could say that the parking is kind of saving the space for further expansion for everything here now. And I added in some of these warehouses near the post sorting facility to kind of act as, secondary warehouses for, maybe this is like Amazon, I guess. And so they want a secondary storage option before they kind of divvy it up amongst the post offices in town. But I think with all of our office park done, let's go ahead and move on to some landscaping and detailing. So for our landscaping and detailing, we are going to be doing quite a lot today. So I want to add in a bunch of landscaping in our office area because I want it to feel very uniform and look like a very performative office park. I want everyone that visits this area to be kind of impressed with the level of landscaping there. I also want to add in a bunch of decals, stains, and a bunch of other stuff here as well. And I also just kind of want to expand some of our agribusiness. And I want to do this because I want to say that as we develop, we kind of purchase farmland and we redevelop, kind of how cities now are kind of developing, and kind of utilize that in our sprawl. And I think that'll kind of help us kind of further utilize parcels. As you can see, we got these interesting shapes. So I kind of want to utilize that in the future when we plan our neighborhoods, because I think that'll kind of make a unique shape. So I want to go ahead and place those farms as well. But I think with all of that laid out and all of that planned, let's go ahead and get to landscaping. a detailing episode this one was. So as you can see, I added in these warehouses near this post sorting facility, and I just think this looks so cool. But we also added in a bunch of landscaping, that uniform landscaping I said I wanted to add in, and I have this little park area near the Verdelink HQ, as well as this little overlook. So if you work here, you can just go out and look in the water. So I think that looks super cool over here. At least I have to come back and fix some of this terrain in just a moment, but I just think this looks super cool. I added in some fencing too to kind of divvy up each of the different offices. So this is maybe one specific company, as well as I did some of that as well over here as well. So I think that looks pretty cool. And I added in a bunch of farms as well. Didn't go further than here because this is where the junction is, and I figured that they would only go as far as they would need to, or they would plat only as far as they need to for construction of this. So stopped right there, and I figured that they would kind of follow this road for further construction. So got that nice little agricultural sprawl going on here. So nice development going on. But I think that is it. I think this intersection here is probably a fix for another day, but let me know if you guys think there's anything I can improve on. Let me know what you guys think about the port district. Is it realistic? Should I have added more depot assets, or am I missing anything? But thank you guys so much for watching, and stick around for the city tour where we can see the transition. I just love making those. So thank you so much for watching again, and peace.